Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this opinions video for Smackdown. This time we said anything you want to talk about, not just Cody, Rock, Roman, although I'm sure that will be mentioned, but anything on the show that you want to talk about, anything to do with Smackdown, you can get your teeth into it. We've had over 40 responses, which is a really nice amount, so I'm hopeful that we can get to them all. Let's put an hour on the clock. We might not use the hour. I've got a feeling we probably will, but I'm going to put it on, and then obviously you know the score. As soon as that time runs out, we're done, right? This time I have gone back to the oldest comments, so it feels like the fairest thing to do. So let's put the hour up, and then we'll start working our way through your thoughts regarding this week's Smackdown. Boom. So, Wrestle Roller said it was a good show. However, it felt like there was a lack of women's segments. Could have had an interview or two building for next week's Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. I think that's fair. I think that's a very fair comment. Vash says, one more thing that I want to say. I want to make you notice that Rhea Ripley said Io Shirai yesterday instead of Sky. Sammy mentioned Randy as a 13-time world champion, and it felt weird. Love from your one and only Nepalese viewer and watching your videos from Sydney. So, Avash, shout out to you, my friend. I love the Nepal flag. Like, it's amazing how it's obviously a different shape. And I have never actually looked into the history of that, why it is a different shape. But shout out to you, my friends. And well spotted. I mean, I would imagine that Rhea called Io Sky Io Shirai because obviously she knows her probably best from NXT. And that's where she was, Io Shirai. So she probably still hasn't adjusted, which is a bit strange, considering we've adjusted. So you would think she would have adjusted, but a simple mistake to make. And Randy Orton, 13-time champion. It's one of those, isn't it, where you've got to try and recall the number and you just go for one, like, it's around 13. Is it 13? Is it 14? So, but well spotted. I can see Avash has got another comment up here. He says, they are going to show us Authority versus Triple H now. Corporate Rock will be back, which is awesome. And at some point, he will turn against Roman, which will make him loved by the fans again and lead to WrestleMania 41 main event, Roman Reigns versus The Rock, non-title, which is what we wanted. And yeah, I completely agree, because I think the title gets in the way. I think the title, I really don't see Roman dropping the belt to The Rock. So if you do the match and the title's not involved, and it's more to do with the bloodline, and it's more to do with who is the tribal chief, I think that becomes a lot more interesting if the title is not around. So I agree. For me, this match waiting, it doesn't hurt the match. I think people were happy to wait for it. It's just that it got teased, and the face-to-face meant that a lot of Rock fans got very excited, understandably so, and now obviously they're very disappointed. Understandably so. So I'm happy to wait as well. Ring Insights said, it was good for me, although we could do more things, more good things. Hope next week Rock's ego does not hit as much due to his track record as he parts ways with others due to his ego. Vin is an example. Cody and Triple H could be gone if this goes. So I feel like he is hurt by this, right? I think that he wanted to be the hero, and now he's been turned into the villain. I think he can be the villain, right? But I think it probably has stung a little bit. But at this point, I think we're working. At this point, I think as long as we're making money and as long as people are tuning in, I think The Rock is going to be okay with it. I mean, The Rock's priority is that this company is booming, right? That's his absolute priority. And the company is doing very, very well. So I think that will ease his pain, if he does have any at the moment. But yeah, I think this whole thing will have stung a little. Ryan, so RYN, which I thought was Ryan, but actually it might be Rhino. But RYN, I'll just stick with RYN. Definitely has got a different vibe. Still the dumb 50-50 booking. They need to protect top guys. AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, LA Knight. They're overexposing Drew McIntyre. That's a good point, actually. I mean, he is a Raw superstar who was on SmackDown. And, you know, we're using Raw and SmackDown guys for this Elimination Chamber, which was a little bit of a surprise. We're using Raw and SmackDown, so I agree. Probably didn't need to see as much of him. We could have done the qualifying matches for him over on Raw. So, yeah, we probably could have got away with doing that. But, yeah, you know, it was okay. It was okay. I can cope with it. It's been pretty entertaining on social media. Tyler Football said, I think it was a great show. As a Randy Orton fan, I am worried about him grabbing his back, hoping he was just overselling. But if we want that World Heavyweight title to mean something, then Randy is the guy to do it. Just saying. Joe said Dakota's face turn is surprising. I wonder if she will turn on Bayley. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we don't know, do we? I mean, at the moment, it feels like she's by her side, but it could just be a big trap. I must admit, I did think Dakota would join up with Bayley because, I mean, you've already got 3 on the one side, Bayley on her own. You could have had 4 and then Bayley find 3 people to help her. But I don't know. I think 3 is a nice number. It's like Shield, isn't it? Makes me think of the Shield. So I kind of feel like that group as well, what with them all being Japanese, I know it doesn't matter, but it just gives that group a very distinctive identity. And I kind of feel like Dakota, she could have been the 4th. You know, she could have been the 4th because honestly, they may need a mouthpiece. They might need someone to do the promos and the talking for them. But who knows? Maybe that group will be presented in a similar style to Shinsuke and his backstage promos, you know? Maybe we explore that with this new group. But anyway, Dakota, she had a choice to make. I thought it made sense her going with Bayley. I still think they obviously need to add one more person to that group, and I'm not sure as to who that would be. Maybe potential for someone to be called up. Maybe potential for someone from NXT to come in. It's the kind of spot where, I don't know, like a Cora Jade or a Roxanne Perez could be quite interesting. But, you know, there's a lot of women on that roster. Shotzi comes to mind that really are just not doing a great deal. You know, Xia Li, Shotzi. I mean, I suppose Zelina is in LWO, but you get my point, and there's women on there that really do need something to do. So yeah, we'll have to see if it holds. Cameron said, I feel Mia Yim could be doing more exciting things than what she's doing now. She just can't buy any wins. You know she's not in a good place if we could tell she's not winning, like tonight when she fought Bianca. Well, Cameron, how about we put her in with Bayley? You know, there's another good shout. Mia Yim was a name, or Michin was a name that I wasn't really thinking of because she's in OC. But what is OC? I mean, it doesn't really exist. And I honestly, I feel so sorry for Gallows and Anderson. They're flying all over the USA just to walk Michin out. That is it. They literally just walk her out and then they go to the back again. I mean, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. So that's not a bad shout with her experience and what with her needing help, you know, a boost, needing advice, needing guidance, putting her in with Bayley and Dakota, being right in the middle of like a red hot feud with Io and Asuka and Kairi, like that could be quite fun. That could be quite fun. Zahar says, I've no idea what they'll do for Sami now. An underdog story where he ends up in putting himself in a match between Seth and the Elimination Chamber winner. A feud versus a superstar. It feels bad. It seems as though he's lost momentum. Nothing makes sense for him as of now. Well, I'm a Sammy stan, and I'm not as worried as what you are, right? The reason being is because I love the fact that we are really focused on him trying to be a contender. If you've been watching Sammy, he just has not even been in the conversation. I mean, he has been in the Bloodline, and he got that title match. Then he got moved into a tag team. And then he's been kind of faffing around with Jay and the Judgment Day. Then he got took out by Drew. Then he's come back. You know, it's really been 12 months since he's been anywhere near like a world title conversation. I think he did get a shot randomly on an episode of Raw against Seth, but there was no chance of him winning, right? And so this feels quite encouraging to me. It feels like, you know, he did a promo last week, or was it Monday, where he was sat in the stands and he was talking about what it was like this time last year. And he was talking about how close he came, but now he's a contender. And then we interview him. He's in the main event tonight. We interview him. He's trying to qualify for Elimination Chamber. He knows it's going to be hard, but at least it's a path. And he's got to get past Randy Orton, and he gives it a good go, but he falls short. And I mean, look, we're clearly building up sympathy. You are following him on this journey as he is trying to become a world champion. This might not be a short journey. This might not end at WrestleMania. There was a theory that Sammy could be a front runner for the Money in the Bank. So I think that there's a good chance he'll find a way of getting onto the Elimination Chamber card. If he doesn't, I expect him to get into some sort of feud. But there is also word on the street that the Elimination Chamber winner may face Seth at Elimination Chamber, which, if that is true, and I think it came from like Observer Radio, if that does go down that way, that would mean that the Elimination Chamber winner isn't facing Seth at WrestleMania. So who is facing Seth at WrestleMania? Does that open a door for Sammy to get in there and potentially take on Seth? I mean, I don't know if we've done enough of a build for Sammy to get into that position and get the crowd support and, you know, kind of get that opportunity. Sammy does need the crowds behind him now. I'm a little bit worried he hasn't got them at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see. I am a Sammy stan. I'm not worried. Even if this WrestleMania doesn't go well, I will be looking at Money in the Bank. Supreme Metal 14 said an average Smackdown. Could have missed it if you had more important things to do. It was average. There was no Cody. There was no Roman. There was no Rock. Ken said it was a good show. Love the Triple H segment. I think Nick Aldis as GM has been great as well. Love seeing Bate and Dunn get a title shot at Elimination Chamber. That was a banging match. Really enjoyed that match. Ashton says, I was not happy with Sammy losing, but I think Sammy could be the one to dethrone Gunther at Mania. I think if you give Cody finishing the story, LA Knight beating Logan, Sammy beating Gunther, those would be some special moments. I got to tell you, I'm not as confident that he will face Gunther, but I'm really down for that match. I don't mind him being the one to beat Gunther. He has already had a number of runs with the IC title, though, and I really think Sammy's focus now is world title level. If I'm a betting man, my money at the moment on the person that beats Gunther is Bron Breakker. That's where my money is going. It's going on Bron Breakker. Right? And the reason why I say that is because word on the street is he has replaced Brock Lesnar's Royal Rumble plans. Now it looks like he's trying to figure out where to go. You got Paul Heyman kind of sniffing around. He's just been like talking backstage with Triple H. Triple H saying he's so impressed with Bron Breakker. Like, they're really billing this guy as a big deal. And what a statement if he does face Gunther at WrestleMania, which apparently was what Brock was going to do, and he beats him, right? That would free Gunther up to then terrorize the world title level, and what a way to introduce Bron Breakker. So I think my money would go on Bron. And if Sammy is going to do something underwhelming this WrestleMania season, then not win a title or anything, then I think he is looking pretty good for Money in the Bank, right? He's looking pretty good for Money in the Bank. Another name that you can't ignore for that, though, would be LA Knight, right? That would be another name that you can't ignore. In fact, I'd argue there's a few names that are in the running for Money in the Bank, but let's worry about that when we get to it. The Brahma Bull DHF said it was an amazing show. Randy and Drew qualified. Chamber's gonna be fire. And Daze, I would also like to say that you're my favorite wrestling YouTuber. I love the reactions. They are the best. That's really kind, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm really pleased that you enjoy any of the content, the reactions, the unseen videos, the opinion videos, the live streams, you know, whatever it might be. The toy hunts. People love the toy hunts. So, yeah, really appreciate it. And I agree with you. I mean, literally about everything you've said, but the Chamber is going to be fire. I'm really looking forward to it as well. I hope there's something juicy there. I hope there's something that really brings the viewers in, you know? I'm really looking for something that's going to keep this ball rolling. Elimination Chamber does run the risk of just being a little bit underwhelming compared to the Rumble, even compared to that press conference. So Chamber does look amazing. The Chamber matches are amazing. But I feel like we do need something juicy. And don't worry, I think we're getting it because I'm fairly confident The Rock will be there, and any Rock segment is must-see TV, right? So I think we're getting it. I think you're right. It's going to be an amazing show, but obviously nothing on that level has been announced yet. Vamphy says, it was good. I feel there is a power play tug of war between The Rock and Triple H brewing up. It's going to make great cinema if that's the case. B.N. Drake said, overall, it was a decent show. I've got my name on the brain. A decent show that gave a couple of talking points. But I'd really like to see the segment from last Friday explained. Having Cody Roman is great, but these are obstacles that he put in his own path, and it needs to be explained sooner than later. That's a great shout. I think you can do it yourself. You can kind of find your own explanation, but I completely agree with you. It would be lovely if we got the official explanation as to what happened. Casual LA Knight Enjoyer said, I'm just really upset about Sammy versus Randy. I really wanted Sammy to win that match and have his chance for the title again. But overall, I think the show was decent. And Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate winning is sick. Can't wait for their match with JD at EC. I think what's great is that we're seeing a few people saying, I feel sorry for Sammy. I feel sorry for Sammy. I feel sorry for Sammy. That's got to be good, hasn't it? That's got to be good. It's got to be good that so many people are disappointed for Sammy. That's got to mean that he is still seen as the plucky underdog that's really trying to get there. And that can't be a bad thing. That can't be a bad thing. So, yeah, I'm quite encouraged the more I'm reading these comments, to be honest, because if the wider wrestling world is feeling the same way, then surely Sammy is in a good place, right? Yeah. I'm feeling good. Sam, shout out to you, said Smackdown was really fun this week. Logan Paul segment was fun. And I am really seeing more sports stuff that is being added to WWE TV. It's awesome. Also, hashtag we want Rocky. TJ, hashtag we want Cody, said, I absolutely hate the treatment that Dakota got. The crowd was disrespectful, in my opinion. Booing her is one thing. I get that. But the what chants have got to go. They what chanted Triple H too. Also, Dakota Kai is the future face of the company and WrestleMania main eventer. So good at what she does. I mean, what I would say is the what chants, I wouldn't worry about them so much because they what chanted The Rock, right? I kind of feel like the what chants it doesn't take much for them to catch on. If someone starts something, the crowd will join in. You know, the crowd are there to chant and be involved. And I got to tell you, man, I'd much rather a crowd be chanting than a crowd just sitting there being silent. I mean, to me, that's the worst thing, is a silent, dead crowd. I'd much rather have a lively, vibrant crowd, because you can actually do something with that. I mean, look, they were brilliant towards Dakota when she had shown she was going to stand with Bayley. So this crowd were, all right, they were laying into Dakota at the start, but as soon as she chased Io and Asuka and Kairi away with that chair, my memory tells me that they were chanting, hug it out, hug it out, hug it out. So the crowd wanted to see Dakota and Bayley hug. So I kind of feel like this crowd was a lively crowd that was up for it, that was up for a good time. And, you know, they saw Bayley get disrespected and they wanted Dakota to be with Bayley, but they didn't trust Dakota. Dakota hadn't really given the crowd a reason for them to trust her because, you know, Dakota had kind of played it kind of cool. She wasn't there when they turned on her, but I don't know, was she there to just really stick the knife in on behalf of Kairi, on behalf of Io, on behalf of Asuka? Or was she there and what she was saying was true and she wanted to stand by Bayley? The crowd weren't buying it at first, but as we said, when she chased him away with the chair, then they did. So I really like the crowds. I will, as I said, I'll take a boisterous crowd over a quiet crowd. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what's next for Dakota and Bayley now. It's going to be very, very interesting. I feel like they need to add one more person to their ranks. And I wonder who that will be. Mitchell said, I think LA Knight messing with AJ will lead to AJ messing with LA. Somehow Logan gets involved and this leads to a triple threat for the US title. Ooh, very interesting. Very interesting. Mitchell, shout out to you. Thank you for sending me something that's not pornographic. I really appreciate that. This one actually did come through. I didn't get any warning. I didn't get any age restriction message or anything. So I think the community will be really pleased to see that you've changed your ways. So Mitchell, thank you. Dave in real life said hints of a future power struggle between Triple H and The Rock. Could we see a match at Mania? After last night's Smackdown, it certainly looks that way. Only problem is Triple H might not be medically cleared. I say, watch this space. Razzie says mid. That's it. That's what all the comments need to be now. Just one word, please. All this reading that I have to do, it's not good for me, do you know? Reading has never been beneficial for anyone in the history of humankind. And I have to do a lot of reading here. So can we all learn from Razzie, please? At Razzie Dub, yeah? Mid. Brendan said Sasha Banks' return. Yeah, it was a big moment. It was a massive moment. We probably should talk about Sasha Banks' return from SmackDown. It was a massive moment. The fact that she managed to look like 2019 Sasha Banks as well was very impressive. Very impressive. So, yeah, Mercedes coming back. That was a big, big moment. In fact, I'm going to like it. And I didn't like the mid comment as well. And Mitchell, you don't deserve it. Right, here we go. Contest of Champions 3009 says, I think Dakota meant to hit Bayley, but luckily Bayley missed the chair shot and Dakota hit the chair on the rope. I just have a feeling she will turn on Bayley very soon. Hyped for next week's SmackDown, says Contest of Champions. Melanie said, it was okay. Okay, well, Melanie, can we learn from Razzie, please? That was just a little bit long. Yeah, we could probably lose it was and just go with okay next time. But thank you, Melanie. I'm only joking. Thank you. Alex said, I think it was a solid show. Are they building towards Roman and Rock at Elimination Chamber in a tag match with Cody and someone? It can't be Randy now, so who? And the only question I've got about tonight's show, wasn't Cody supposed to be on the show? So Cody was advertised, not for the show actually, but he was advertised because he always releases his schedule. So if you want to see him, this is where he will be. And amazingly, he was not on the show because he worked the dark match. So they had him there, they flew him in, and he worked the dark match. He was basically only there for the live crowd, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. But I suppose he is also an attraction. So if you had Cody on Friday, would you be as excited for seeing him on Monday, you know? So it's interesting that, isn't it? So when you look at these schedules, when they post these schedules, we can't take it for granted that they are going to be on TV. Even if it's Raw, even if it's Smackdown, they may be working the dark match. And yeah, tag match at the Chamber, I don't think so. I don't think so. First of all, Roman is apparently not going to be at the Chamber. That could change, but this was a few weeks ago. And The Rock is apparently going to be there, but he's doing some sort of talk show segment with Grayson Waller. That was the last plans, but of course we know plans have changed. But I think The Rock, watching The Rock wrestle is special, you know? I mean, the last Rock match was, I don't know, WrestleMania 29. I mean, a long time ago. So I feel that, I know there was the 7-second thing, I'm not counting that. So I feel that if The Rock's going to wrestle, it's probably going to be at WrestleMania, right? I don't know that we'll do the Elimination Chamber. So I'm going to lean towards no tag match, but I do think Cody and Rock will still be there, right? Don't know what Cody's going to do there, but I think he is still expected to go. Rico said, with all the possible combinations, Elimination Chamber is going to cook. It will always be the big four, but building Chamber like a Rumble Redemption is genius. It is far better than slapping the WrestleMania name on Payback. Yes, I like that. I like that. It's I agree. Slapping WrestleMania, I think it was Backlash actually, was not the right way forwards. And thankfully they've not done that this time. So we instead are going to France for that. But yeah, I think this is going to be a big show. It's on the road to WrestleMania. The buzz around wrestling right now is really, really high. The goal is going to be, can they maintain this? And they seem confident they can. And it's not that far away, in all fairness. But can they maintain this throughout March? This level of intrigue, this level of excitement, can they maintain this all the way through that as we build towards WrestleMania? I think they can. And I think that they've got some stories they want to tell. And they seem very excited about telling them. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see what they're going to come up with. Survivor says, this was the absolute best episode of Smackdown we have had in a very long time. Great promos, banger matches, many stories were told. It was just perfect. Watson said, I think if Roman does lose at Mania, he will take time off. So let Bron Breakker be the new Paul Heyman guy and push him to the top. And also, we could see Sammy challenge Gunther at Mania. Oh, we've had that mentioned before. JME said a focus show and fresh match combinations. Triple H promo was very cool as well. I'm going to go with 8 out of 10. Atharv said, man, why can't they just split the tag titles? There are so many great tag teams right now who deserve to hold the belts. DIY, British Strong Style, Creed Brothers, Imperium, New Day, the list goes on. It is very good at the moment. I would say though that they've probably done the right thing having just one set of tag belts, because the tag division hasn't been this deep, but it is quite deep now. And I think we are at a point where we could have a conversation about, do we split them, right? I've been all right with it up until this point, to be honest. I've been all right with it up until this point. I think the fact that the Creeds got called up, the fact that British Strong Style has been created, the fact that DIY has been created, like, there's a few things that have happened recently that really has kind of injected life into the tag division. So, as we said, I think we're at the point where we could have that conversation now. Rich said, swing back, return fire, good, 8.6, love all but my wife. Rich, thank you. Rich, if you could take a lesson from Razzie, try and keep it to one word, right? You can choose any of these words that you've selected, right? Maybe keep the 8.6 or the good or the love. I definitely wouldn't keep the wife. Well, no, you can keep her, but I mean, in the comment. Thank you. Nick WWECR said, I'd love it if we got Roman and Rock versus Cody and Seth at Elimination Chamber, and Seth versus Rock night 1 at Mania, and Cody versus Roman night 2 of Mania. Thoughts? My thoughts are what I said before. I mean, I can only go off what the dirt sheets are saying, and that is that Roman's not expected to be there. Seth, word on the street is might be having a title match. Rock is expected to be on like a Grayson Waller effect, and I don't know what Cody's doing. So I don't think we're getting the tag match. Seth versus Rock at Mania, I am actually down for. And if it's going to be a case that we are doing Seth versus the winner of the Chamber, then I think we very much could be looking at Rock versus Seth night 1. I also like Rock versus Randy Orton, but I think Seth being in the main event and The Rock basically just replacing CM Punk, I think that could be very interesting. And actually, do you know what? Roman is the champion over on Smackdown. How about if The Rock says, well, I'll go and get the belt from the other brand, and we'll have all the titles in the bloodline. So night 1 could be Seth versus Rock as Rock tries to win the other world championship, right? So that he can have that belt. Roman can then beat Cody, and the bloodline have got all the belts. So I think you've made an excellent point. I think Rock versus Seth night 1, I think looks very, very good. I think that looks very, very good right now. Right, it's Bryn again said, I surprisingly loved the episode. It feels like a new era of wrestling, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I love the Michin appreciation, and I can't wait for her character change. Ashanti and Cedric getting repackaged is always great to see, and DM Hunk is amazing. It's Bryn again. Shout out to you. Yeah, a lot of these things I think all of them we touched on in the Unseen video. Michin did a tweet where she's like taking off, ripping off her face to reveal another face, kind of taking off a mask, kind of showing her true self. It's a very interesting tweet. It does kind of point in the direction of there being a change, you know? And yeah, DM Hunk is amazing. That's what Drew McIntyre called himself at the start of Smackdown. And talking of the tag division, Ashanti and Cedric, Rags and Riches. I don't know if that's the name they're going with, but they are a team, and there is a vignette, a video that's doing the rounds that you can see. I think it's on the WWE. Well, it's in the Unseen video, but to get the audio, it's on the WWE social media accounts, probably on their YouTube channel. So yeah, there's a lot going on at the moment. A lot going on. So it's Bryn again. Shout out to you. Brady said, I'm very sad that Triple H didn't come out to the game tonight. I missed that theme. Also, it's interesting to see what side Dakota Kai joins. And where was Cody do? Well, Cody was on a dark match, so it was a bit strange, a bit unexpected, but he was on a dark match. And Dakota has joined Bayley. I think she has joined Bayley. She may turn on Bayley further down the road, but I don't know. I think that I'm okay with... I mean, Bayley just got turned on. So to have her turned on again, I think I would just run with Dakota and Bayley and add an extra person, to be honest. I don't think I'd look for Dakota to turn on her. Maybe you could do it much further down the road, but on the build, on the road to WrestleMania, I think Bayley's been turned on enough. I wouldn't have Dakota do it now, personally. Kian said, I think the show delivered. They defo made next week must-see, and the idea of this power struggle between The Rock and Triple H is interesting. If The Rock is going to be around for a while with so many directions we could go in utilizing The Rock's presence. There are a lot of directions, you're right. Nando said, I love that my guy Tyler Bate is already getting a tag team title shot this soon after being called up. Hoping they split the titles because I want DIY to win big still. So it's interesting, isn't it? We are getting some comments coming in about splitting those tag titles, which is interesting. It feels like the community is at a point where that's a conversation that we could have. Gio the Theo said, I've pasted this because I type too much. I feel like Dakota Kai should side with... Is there more to it? Have you... What are we... Oh, no. Okay. It doesn't look that much. I feel like Dakota Kai should side with Bayley in the damage control story. Looking at it from Triple H's perspective, the booker, it would add more drama and matches that can be made on the road to WrestleMania. Triple H could book many different matches, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, with mystery partner on Bayley and Dakota's side. I completely agree. Yep. We were just saying that. Yeah, I agree. Chris said, I love how we've now going with a TKO Rock and a CCO Triple H rivalry. Let's go. Look at this. I actually responded to this one. So, Joey, oh yeah, you'll see why I responded. Joey said, I think it was a great show. I was actually there in Charlotte. The crowd was hot for most of the show, and the dark matches were great. And at least to me, I was really shocked when Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate won. Best match of the night, in my opinion. I think our opinion as well. I can tell you that on the voting on the live stream, it did get the most highest score, that match. I said, was there much support for The Rock? Sounded like there was to me, but not sure. Brackets, clearly more support for Cody, right? I didn't want him to think that I was saying The Rock was more popular than Cody. Cody got the most support, but I thought I could hear some support for The Rock. And Joey did respond. He said there was very few people that chanted, we want Rocky before the show started. But every time he got mentioned or put on the screen, the place was full of boos. Very, very interesting, because that is not the vibe I got from the show. Maybe it's just me. I think part of the problem is Cody and Rocky sound so similar that when they're chanting Cody, 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 Rocky, 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 I can't quite tell if it's Rocky or Cody, or they're really, really close. So you have to really listen out to, and because they're like talking over each other, and then you might get other people coming in as well, like it can be quite hard to decipher. So I'm really having to rely on other people on this one. I mean, to me, I felt like I could hear a split crowds. But that's not what Joey seems to be reporting here, so interesting. Right, have we done? No way we've got through 43 comments. So this was a segment from Tommy Toy Travel's live stream where he accidentally shows his nipples. I have no idea. I clicked on it. I saw things I shouldn't have seen. I responded with this, right? Horrific. But yeah, that does suggest that we've got through them all, to be honest, which that is in like record time. I mean, I'm not complaining. I mean, fairness, what are these? Did we do these? Oh no, discover more. Oh, I thought there was a load that we hadn't done. This is the discover more section. Should we have a look at these? We'll have a look at these. We'll just have a look, see what we got. Right, Bayley Mania is upon us. This is her year, says Crispy Wrestling. Best I've felt in a long time. Where's Killer Cross? he should take matters into his own hands. These are well, not the qualifiers, but those that are trying to qualify. And I think, what are the matchups? We've got KO and Dominic. We had Randy and so it's not like they're next to each other. They're a little bit all over the show, so you can't really make much out there. I really thought Bronson was going to get like Logan, or Bronson was going to get Dominic, but he didn't, unfortunately. RIP Bray Wyatt says the Burnt Fiend, so that's really good, isn't it? JM Arc Art has drawn that. That's awesome. That's really good. That's really, really good. Boulder said, hear me out. Nick Aldis versus Adam Pearce. Dream match. Let's go. Let's go. Any Nick Aldis match I will buy into. I really would love to see him compete in WWE. And that's it. That's it for the extra stuff as well. Oh my God. This is like a new version of me. It's a new version of me where I don't mess around. We just get straight into it. And there's still 20 odd minutes on the clock. What is this? What is this brave new world that we're living in, eh? Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really appreciate the support. Another Unseen video coming up later today. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.